Hey, it's Heidi. Hi, it's good to see you virtually, and thank you so much for coming back for these videos. I'm really encouraged and glad that you're finding them helpful. And hopefully, we won't disappoint today, and you'll have another really helpful video. Today, I want to talk about the concept of being enough. And when I say that, what comes to mind? Usually it's like the conversation we have of I'm not enough. And I'm not enough can be anything fill in the blank. Tall enough, pretty enough, interesting enough, motivated enough, have enough, or have enough is another thing. Money, time, and it's really the enough conversation shows up so many ways. I really believe it shows up in three places. There's not enough, it's not enough, or I'm not enough. And when you have those traps of enough and you fall into them, you can really end up feeling totally overwhelmed, really inadequate, which is a big one, right? You feel less than. You end up competing and comparing yourself to other people. You end up feeling totally anxious, depressed, especially with the comparison thing, right? So this enough conversation is like really important for us to master and to figure out how to overcome it because really it can dominate us in so many different areas of our lives. Like I said, I think there are three main areas. Now, if you know you're a person who wrestles with this enough concept and you want to tackle it right now, you can watch this video or even skip the video and go right over to lovecoachheidi.com and download right now a whole workshop dedicated to being enough. You just go in the workshop tab and it drops down with all the different teachings, and enough will come up and you can just get it right now and grab a notebook and a pen and paper and get to work if you have some time. That'd be awesome. Or you can just watch this video and comment below and not get the workshop. Whatever you choose is fine. It's enough. But today we're going to talk about the concept of there's not enough and just kind of how that conversation of there's not enough sets us up for a cycle in life of like binging or restricting or kind of a cycle of both. Um, okay, so I'm just going to share a little bit about how kind of this showed up in my life and maybe you can relate, right? When we were growing up, when I was very, very little, we were poor. We did not have money, and my mom did everything she could, bless her, really worked hard to help everybody have what they needed. But there wasn't extra money for a lot of stuff. There wasn't a lot of extra stuff, but every single Christmas, this box of Redstone candy would appear. And this was like amazing. It was like a 5-pound box of candy, right? Only made in Pennsylvania, really, really special, a white box with red lettering on it. And in the box was all these different chocolates, and they were really cool kinds of chocolates. There was like little clusters with peanuts and another coconut cluster and some cashew clusters, and then this big old chocolate bar was also in there. And I remember every Christmas getting this, and really my preference was for the little coconut cluster. I really thought that that was the most delicious one. But because we didn't have a lot of extra stuff all the time, I started to develop this mentality of like more bang for my buck and getting the value of it. And so then I would settle for the thing I didn't really want because there was more of it. Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I would have more of the thing I didn't really want, but because there was more of it, that's what I thought was meeting my need. Right. And so I would always take that big thing for years. Every Christmas that would show up, and I didn't go for the coconut clusters. I went for the big old chocolate bar. And later on in life, I noticed that that's like bang for my buck. More is better, kind of because there's not enough mentality. Started to take on even bigger. Manifest bigger in my life, like with food again, per se, for when we would go to dinner with my husband. My husband is a foodie, right? And I am not. I'm like, I don't like to spend money on food. I mean, I would rather like eat $100 bill and just poop it out because that's what you're doing, right? Let's get real, in my mind. But my husband loves food, and what we love to do is go to Disney. And we would go to Disney all the time. And Disney does not get the concept of value meals. All right, let me just throw that out there. They don't. But they put all this nice food together, and you have like your piece of meat with your haricot verts, whatever, which is green beans for me and you, right? But whatever. And they put these little green beans on this meat, and it's like $87 for this. And I read the menu right to left. I scan the price. I go, $34. That's mine. Whatever it is, I eat it. Do I want it? No. But because I feel like there's not enough money or there's not enough food, or there's not enough value, I will go price and then decide to eat that. And so this would be like a source of contention for my husband and I, because he would enjoy this lovely meal and enjoy his food and savor it. And because was a not enough person, I would like hoover my food, like suck it down. And here he is like savoring every bite. And I'd be like, what the fuck, taking a long time. Come on, let's go. Let's eat the food, right? And I was ruining his experience because he was savoring it. Like the food, like I eat my food, like I would eat my food like it was going to get up and run away. Like I had to trap it. Like I had to catch it and trap it and eat it real quick because it was going to go away if I didn't do it, right? Stupid. Stupid. And then every time the bill would come, because of this financial conversation about there's not enough money, we can't waste it on food, we could spend it over here for something else. The bill would come. He would be really happy with his meal, right? Eating it. As soon as the bill would come, I would turn into like, I would get pissed off and I would look at the bill and I'd be like, oh, $230. Well, that's great for my little hunk of fish, and I'd be really mad. And then I would see his face and he'd be like, all the happiness would drain out. And like I would ruin his experience. And I thought to myself, shit, like this is my issue, this lack mentality. We had plenty of money to be able to pay for the Haricot Bear at the green beans. We had plenty of money, right? So it was my issue. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to stop looking at the check, right? That was step one. Let me just not look at the check. Step two was for me to start to learn to look at what I really wanted instead of what I thought was going to provide the most bang for my buck, right? Because there's not enough. How else did this show up in my life? With alcohol. There's not a there what the problem was I didn't know how to meet my own needs and focus on what I really wanted. So instead I would settle for whatever I thought was a good deal. I did that in relationships, I did that with food, I did it with my life. Settling for whatever you think you can get because there's not enough. That's the result. And with alcohol, it was the same way. It was like, oh, I got to drink all the alcohol right now, binge on the alcohol because there's not enough. So let me get everything I can need. And the bar's closing. It's 1 o'clock. The bar's closing at 2. Let me go up and get 15 drinks. Before I go out, let me have 14 shots so that I can be drunk enough. Well, guess what? There was never enough. There was never enough food. There was never enough alcohol. There was never enough of the shitty relationships. Why? Because you can never get enough of what you don't really want, right? You can never get enough of what you don't really want. I could never get enough big chocolate squares because I really wanted the coconut clusters. I could never really get enough of that second-rate stupid chicken because what I really wanted was this Chilean sea bass. But I deprived myself because there's not enough money, right? The Chilean sea bass was $80 and the chicken was $30. But I didn't fucking want the chicken. I wanted the sea bass, right? There's never enough alcohol because I didn't want the alcohol. I wanted what I thought the alcohol would give me, but I couldn't meet on my own needs. And I was unwilling to give to myself. So I did a Band-Aid on a flesh wound instead, right? There's never enough of what you don't really want because what you really want will fill you up. It will fulfill you. It will fulfill you. If I would have taken now listen, last Christmas, my mom gave me the Redstone candy box. She's so sweet. She sent me the Redstone candy. They still make it. And it came in the mail and I opened the box up and there were all the little clusters and there was the big chocolate square. And do you know what I chose? The coconut cluster. And I tell you what, I ate it and I chewed it and I tasted it. And I ate it and I chewed it and I tasted it and I didn't need 15 fucking clusters because I enjoyed the one cluster and that cluster was enough because I had what I really wanted. If I would have had the chocolate bar, we do this with food all the time. Maybe you can relate. You have a fridge full of food. You want the chocolate cake that's on the top, right? You want the chocolate cake. But instead, you tell yourself, oh, I'm not enough, or there's not enough, or whatever it is. You did that enough conversation. I'm not enough. I'm not enough. I'm enough. So I can't have chocolate cake. So I'm going to eat everything else around the chocolate cake. I'm going to eat the green. I'm going to eat the carrots. Okay, I'll start with that. That tastes like shit. I hate the carrots. Okay, then I'll move my way up to maybe some like lunch meat, maybe some like the cheese jar. Maybe I have some string cheese. It's low fat, so that's kind of okay. And then I have that, and I'm like, it tastes like shit. It's not really wanted. And then I'll work my way up, and maybe I'll be like, oh, I have like this, maybe a little sugar drink, get some sugar. And then what do? You eat everything in the fridge from the bottom up, plus the cake. Because you can never get enough of what you don't really want, but what you really want will fulfill you. And by the way, it's probably not the cake that you wanted either. It's probably the sweetness of something else in your life that you're missing that you substituted for the cake. It's probably what you really wanted was to treat yourself with kindness, and you thought cake was a way to do it, right? When we are able to meet our own needs in a way that's fulfilling and sustaining, we don't fill up on other stuff. There's not enough trickles into I'm not enough, and they all kind of permeate each other. So I know this is a really kind of a longer conversation. That's why I'm encouraging you to go over to lovecoachheidi.com, where you can learn a little bit more about the there's not enough, it's not enough, and I'm not enough under the workshop tab. And then you can understand how to start to cultivate an abundance mindset, how to get out of the binging, restricting cycle, how to slow down and really feel like there is enough money, there is enough time, there is enough of me, there is enough love, there is enough, right? And stop depriving yourself of what it really is that you need to feel fulfilled. Anyway, I'll check you out over there. If you get the workshop, that's awesome. You'll get a lot of value out of that. Could change everything for you, just that one workshop. Or just sign up for the newsletter over there, and I'll keep you in the know of these posts, these free videos that I make. All right. I love you so much. I hope you're having a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.